Let's expand the conversation with SABC News reporter Katlego Nyoni, who joins us on some of the expectations ahead as we build up to the address. Katlego, very good evening to you. A lot. I mean, residents want water. They want infrastructure issues to be tackled and dealt with. And they're also talking about unemployment and crime. What can be expected as this address is yet to take place?
Well, good evening, Paul. What we heard there from those residents, those are now genuine concerns coming from the residents of Limpopo, particularly if we look at service delivery. Now, there has been a number of issues, especially affecting residents in areas like Seshego, where we've seen that water has been an issue for several years. Excuse me, Paul. But then also, it's not only Seshego. Now, these issues are widespread all over the province: water, roads, and infrastructure.
And when it comes to the economy and, you know, the unemployment rate and what has been delivered in the past and the community's expectations, what can we expect there?
So the Premier of Limpopo, the moment she opened Parliament, this is last year in August, she immediately prioritized three key areas. Now, those include mining, tourism, as well as agriculture. She particularly mentions that these sectors are quite pivotal to the acceleration of the provincial economy. We've seen the unemployment figure steadily decline from 32.6% in the third quarter of 2024. Now, coming into the fourth quarter, they declined but are still high at 31.9%. Now, those are some of the goals that the Premier wants to tackle, which is the acceleration of economic growth through large projects such as bringing in large-scale investments in areas like the Fikafoni Industrial Park, the Musina Makado Special Economic Zone. However, those are long-term plans. They will not necessarily happen in the immediate. Now, as we zoom into how the provincial economy on its own can contribute to the national average, the goal is to increase the GDP there by about 2%, as it currently stays on 7.3%. So now those are some of the dynamics, and they're not the only ones.
Yeah.
There are large-scale infrastructure projects in projects like the Kere from the Public Works Department. Now, as to how they plan to achieve this, we'll hear that from the Premier tomorrow in her address.
At the same time, I mean, we know that just recently the Hawks arrested 2 Border Management Authority officials for alleged corruption. I would imagine that that is a concern that would also be on the tip of the tongue of many community members in the area as they try and get a sense of whether or not more will be done.
Certainly, if you look at the border post where this incident occurred, the Bridge border post, which is regarded as porous, the Border Management Authority has been trying to sort of curb the illicit transportation of goods as well as smuggling on that border, particularly when the Limpopo River, which divides the two countries, is at its driest. Now, this is when you get incidents where you start to see these smugglers conducting their illegal operations through perhaps syndicates using donkey carts to try and cross between the two countries. Now, recently we've seen the BMA announcing that indeed they have nabbed 2 official immigration specialists who are working with illegal, immigrants who are attempting to cross, of course, into the country illegally. Now, there's another issue, and they're also trying to curb these crimes that are, present and prevalent at the border by the utilization of technology as well as drones. We've seen that they've procured the use of drones as well as what you call body cameras for some of these immigration officers who might try and sort of take bribes from those that don't have the documentation to travel. So now certainly we do hope that the Limpopo Premier, Kofi Ramatuba, will touch on issues such as that and also reflect on services, as we had there in the Vox Pop community members. They're talking about, their needs, water, roads. Now, these are some of the key issues that we are hoping the Limpopo Premier Ramatuba will address in her first State of the Province address.
Of course, water is something really at the heart of some of the biggest challenges. We heard President Cyril Ramaphosa speaking quite extensively about water in the State of the Nation address. What are residents on the ground facing when it comes to water? We heard one community member speaking about how they have to buy water and that has to stop.
These are certainly cases that we've been seeing as members of the media. You go into far-flung areas such as Guyane. Of course, you remember that Guyane bulk water project, which encountered several challenges and millions had been invested in getting it to run and, provide water for residents in areas that are deprived of these key services. Now, we have seen recently some of these communities that are part of the initial 55 villages that were meant to get water from the Guyane Bulk Water Supply Initiative, saying to us that they do not have access to clean running water. And you come into large towns, the capital of the province, Polokwane, water is a continuous problem, and the municipality attributes that to vandalism issues like the recent rainfall having caused damage with some of the pipelines that supply water into Polokwane. So certainly water is a big problem there in